Okay, yeah, it's working. Okay, okay.
All right. Well, like she said, my name is Mr. Webb or Spencer Webb, whatever you guys want to call me. I teach elementary PE at Haven Croft, which is here in Olathe. I coach football, bowling, and golf here at the North. Actually went to high school here, graduated in 2005, so I've sat in those seats before. So basically what I'm here to talk about is I have a child. His name is Maxwell. He's 2 years old. It was kind of a surprise when I learned that I was having a child, and kind of like, oh shit, what do I do? What am I gonna do? You know, like, luckily I wasn't in high school, but it's still kind of the same thing. I'm a single dad, single parent. So Maxwell, like I said, is 2. He's awesome. I can't be more happy than I am right now. It was a one-night stand. I'll just throw that out there. So the mom and I hooked up, and the rest is the rest. It happened. So about a month, maybe a month and a half later, she was working at the school that I was teaching at in the Croft, and we had golf practice inside of the school. And I walked outside and I saw her car there, and that's when I was like I said, what's she gonna talk to me about? She was like, well, here's the deal, I'm pregnant. And that's when I was like, okay, well, what's our plan here? What do you want? She's like, I'm keeping it. I said, okay, that's fine. I want to be there because if it's my kid, I want to be in his life.
But also explain that your first initial reaction was you were not ready to be a dad, you wanted her to have an abortion.
Yeah, I just hearing that, I freaked out and I was like, I don't want to have this kid. Is there anything we can do? Because now thinking about that, that's like, why the hell would I say that? You know, that's my child. Why would I say that?
Tell about the precautions.
How could it stop?
Yes, and how it was trucked out and how you know what I'm talking about.
You want me to talk about the whole thing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Well, alright, so
yes.
we went bowling that night. Saturday night bowling was fun. Dollar games, dollar shoes, so it was cheap. After that, we went somewhere and that happened. The next day, I was like, well, yeah, that happened, so we need to go take care of this. So we went to CVS, was it Walgreens? CVS on the corner of Santa Fe and K7. I got her the morning after pill, which is usually takes care of everything that happened the night before. Yeah.
So, did you wear?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I was not wearing a condom. No. So I went and got her the morning after pill.
And let's explain. This was just mere hours, not like,
About 8 hours after.
yeah, maybe, if that, 8 hours later. Okay?
So if it's the right timing, it doesn't matter. Because I'm done.
Do you guys know what the morning after pill does?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, do you even know what it does?
It's supposed to kill.
No, it doesn't kill anything. No. What the morning after pill does, it's expensive, it's like $50 or something like that. And it's called Plan B. What it does is, if you are not already pregnant, it will keep you from becoming pregnant. So you can take it up to 3 days after intercourse.
What?
If you are, because sperm can live for, if you are pregnant though, it does nothing to the baby, it does nothing to your body. So it's not like an abortion, it doesn't kill a fertilized egg, nothing like that. It just blocks sperm from fertilizing an egg. Does that make sense? So when she took the morning after pill, she was already pregnant.
Yeah.
So literally hours, she was already pregnant when she took that pill.
So, can you take it before you have sex?
No. No, honestly, this pill is like a, oh shit kind of pill. Like, what, I made a huge mistake, we gotta figure this out.
Like that, but
Like that, but
Like
does
that.
it, like that, yes, exactly like that.
Exactly.
But it doesn't kill,
So it's
it's
just-
anything like that, yeah.
So it's just in a matter of hours after they had sex for her to get pregnant of him?
I mean, it was instantaneous when they had sex, like, that's how, I mean, one time. Like, most people, you don't realize, it's one time. And if the woman is ovulating, and it's the right, I mean, it'll happen instantly. Very quick, it was like, literally hours after they had sex that she took that pill.
It probably was less than.
It was less than
probably
8
like
hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
pretty lucky. What was that? So I got her that,
Thinking everything was good.
thinking everything was good. About 4 days before my birthday, March 4th, I was leaving elementary because we had golf practice in our gym. It was snowing. She's out there and she stops me and says, hey, we need to talk. Told me she was pregnant and all that. That's when I was like, oh shit, what can we do to get rid of this? Because I don't want to be around. It's like, we talked for about an hour and then she told me there's nothing that I can do to change it. She's gonna have the baby. So that's when I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be in his life. So she asked me if I wanted to sign my rights over right then and there. I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I wanna be the dad because it was my mistake. It was our mistake. I'm gonna man up.
Also explain that you question whether or not,
Not done.
okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, that's the first question, let's go. Okay, what was your relationship like with the mom?
My relationship, like, with the mom, there was no relationship. I knew her because we worked together, but other than that, I didn't really know her. We invited her out to go hang out with us, and that was that. She also must have said that she had a boyfriend, but I don't know if that was true. So that's why I questioned, like I was saying, if it was mine. So at the beginning, it was kind of a very rough patch because we couldn't agree on anything. We didn't very much care for each other, so that was tough. Because if you don't like somebody, how do you get along with them? And if they're gonna be the mom of your child, it's tough. So we didn't really care for each other. You know what, I've had a lot of friends, I had 3 or 4 in college that had kids, and I was like, that's not gonna be me, that will never be me. I'll be married, I'll have kids, it'll be the perfect life. Nope. That didn't happen. So, I did not think I would become a dad the way it happened, but that is it. It was awesome now, I can't complain, so. Well, I was living at home at the time because I had just moved out of an apartment with one of my buddies who had a kid, and I moved back in with my parents because he was moving with his girlfriend. So I told my buddies, because I had my birthday that Saturday, I told all my buddies that I was having a kid, and they didn't believe me. They're like, you're BSing, whatever. It's your birthday, you're just pulling some crap out of your ass. I was like, okay. So, I remember that to this day, March 12th. I'm at home, I was like, I'm doing it today. I've got to do it. Sooner or later, they'll find out. So I sat them down. I was like, hey, Mom, Dad, you're going to be grandparents. I'm having a child. My mom was like, no, you're not. Shut up. Like, my dad was like, no, but that's okay. I like to joke with my parents about everything, so they didn't believe me at all. And I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm having a child. And I was like, oh shit, like, she was kind of pissed at first. She didn't talk to me for about a week. My dad, he was, I don't know, he wasn't mad, but he was disappointed, but after he slept on it, he seemed like he was fine. So, once Maxwell was born, my mom, happy as can be now. I mean, not in the situation, but because she had her first grandchild. And she watches him on Tuesday, Thursdays, and loves it. Now, my brother has a kid, so she watches him on Wednesdays. So she is super grandma. She's watching him all the time and loves it. But that very first initial reaction, ooh, something I wouldn't want anybody to do or have to go through. It was kind of shitty, but yeah.
Have you thought of a story that, or what you're gonna tell your son when he gets older?
I'm just gonna be honest. Tell him what happened, and I mean, he needs to know. You know, no point lying to him because I don't know what his mom will tell him, but I'm gonna tell him the truth. Just be honest. This is what happened, and we both love you, so.
How did your friends react?
They didn't believe me at first. Like, they kind of thought it was funny, you know, like, not you, but like Cody and Lane. He thought it was good. She thought it would be awesome for me. Because I was pretty wild back in the day, as you can tell. But Miss Nail was very happy. A lot of the coworkers at my school were very happy for me, and I thought everybody was going to be like judging me and be judgmental. Everybody was very, supportive. If I needed anything, they were there. And I work with a bunch of women at an elementary school, so, you know, like
Older
me and like 2 other male teachers, yeah, older women, so.
Don't go
You
bowling
know-
with
You
him.
never know what they're gonna teach, or they're gonna, say, yeah, don't go bowling. Never. But, so my friends are very supportive, and, which I can't be, I'm thankful that I have such a supportive group. Like, the girl I'm dating now, she is great with my son. My son loves her, so it's awesome. I feel like I was very involved during the pregnancy, because there are so many doctor appointments that you have to go to that a lot of people, or a lot of males, single males, probably don't go to. It's just weird. I don't know if it's weird, but, going into a woman's doctor's office, and, they're having a baby, it's just different, something that you wouldn't imagine people doing. But I felt like I was very involved and was there. One of the best moments I remember was when I heard the heartbeat. It might sound kind of different to say that was awesome, but to hear your son's heartbeat, it was amazing. I feel like I was very involved in the pregnancy. When I got a phone call when I was at school that she was having a baby and that I needed to get to the hospital, that really when it became real, because that whole summer it was like, oh, I'm going to these doctors appointments. I'm still living my life how I was before, just going to a few more doctors appointments. But when he came out and he was in my arms, that's really when it became real. I was like, all right, I'm a dad. This is my son. And I mean, as soon as he came out, he looked exactly like me. So I was like, all right.
Tell about the paternity stuff and how you guys had a meeting with her family and.
Well, like I said, she had a boyfriend for 5 years, is what she had said. sat down and we had a discussion about it and talked about we wanted to have a paternity test just to make sure. So after he was born,
Tell her reaction.
she was like, why would you want to do that? Because she knew that it was mine, but, so she was surprised that I wanted to have a paternity test. And so, a few days after he was born, in the hospital, you could buy paternity tests or you could have them done, but they're expensive. So, the nurse that was there swabbed his cheek, swabbed my cheek, right in front of her, you know, just because she had to be present for it to be valid. And he sent it in, and the results come back, and it was 99.9% mine. So, I mean, like I said, when he came out, I knew it was mine. He looked exactly like me. My biggest worry was not being able to see my son, because in Kansas, the parental rights they're very based towards the mom. Like, the mom gets a lot more, what do you say, benefit to being the mom. Kansas
Social
doesn't-
rights.
Yeah, Kansas doesn't really, like dads, I guess, or single dads, that's basically how it is. So that was my biggest worry, was not being able to see him that much. But we worked it out. We've got lawyers involved. It's pretty intense. When he was born, I was at school and I got a phone call from her mom saying that he was coming anytime. So I was excited and also kind of nervous. My life's about to change. I don't know what it'll be like. Is he gonna be all right? You know, is everything gonna be like it was supposed to be, or is it gonna be different? But I was very nervous and also excited at the same time.
Did you get to see him being born?
I did not, which that was kind of made me mad, because it's my son and I'd like to see him born. She would not let me into the room because she felt she would not be relaxed. So I was not allowed to see him born, but as soon as he was born, they brought him out and I was able to see him.
What's your relationship like with her now?
You know, it's gotten a lot better. There at the beginning, it was very difficult and pretty rocky. Because we're both kind of hard-headed, I guess you could say. She wants what she wants, I want what I want. But we've gone to mediation, and we have a set schedule now, what we've agreed on, which is nice. But there at the beginning, it was, she got to call the shots. I'm not saying anything bad against her, but like I said, we're both hard-headed, so we couldn't agree, but it seemed a lot. She got what she wanted, but now we can talk, we can sit down, we can come to agreements on things, so it's gotten a lot better than it was.
What do you think has changed that?
I think him being happy, my son being happy, and, you know, her realizing like I'm not a bad dad, like I'm not doing things that are hurting him, or, you know, I think maybe she trusts me a little more than she did that first couple months that she found out she was pregnant.
So you guys were never together. Did you ever feel like
No,
wanting to be together?
I didn't. I never had a connection with her. It was just like you said, a one-night stand.
Did you feel pressure to be with her?
No,
No?
not at all.
So did she want to have a kid with you? Like, were her reactions the same?
No, I don't really know. I don't really know what she felt. I think at the very beginning that she wanted to try and work it out to where we'd be together, but we would have tried to work it out and work together, it would have been, we would have thought it just wouldn't have been worth it. And we didn't want that for, well, I didn't want that for Maxwell, for him to be in the middle of that, so.
So what exactly is your custody agreement and how is that reached?
Well, our custody agreement is basically Mondays, I get Maxwell at 5:30, have him overnight. Monday and Wednesdays, I get him at 5:30, have him overnight. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I drop him off with my mom, and she watches him Tuesday and Thursdays. And then now we rotate it where it's every other weekend. So I have him this weekend, whereas last weekend I didn't have him. So the weekend consists of me getting in at Saturday at 9 till 6 that following Sunday. And then Monday and Wednesdays are the same every week. We also, like holidays, we'll rotate Thanksgiving every year and Christmas every year. I get him for my birthday, she gets him for her birthday. Father's Day, I get him, of course. Mother's Day, she gets him. We came to an agreement with this, but the first few agreements we had to go to mediation and figure them out and talk about it with the mediator, which took, sometimes it was 3 hours, sometimes it was an hour. Just depends on how you guys react with each other and how civil it is. Yeah. Mediation is where you go to a, what's that, the court services right there. You guys probably weren't around when it was Dylan's.
Dylan's, you guys know where Dylan, no.
No.
Yeah.
Right across from Walgreens.
Right, Little Caesars,
Yeah,
right there,
that
that
big
big building.
building,
That's Johnson County Court Services. They have what are called mediators. Mediators are a person that has no idea what's going on, but sits in there with you and is in there for the child. What's best for the child is why they're there. So,
So the person just gives out opinions and suggestions and stuff?
yes,
Oh,
and yeah, that's exactly right. And then she kind of knows like the state guidelines and laws for children, so she can help you with those. Initially, you go in and you talk with that mediator one-on-one, and then the second meeting, you two come in there and put ideas together and talk and try to figure things out, times, and it's just,
It's a way to save having to pay lots of money to go to court
yeah.
and having a judge decide. Because once a judge decides, you really have no say.
And like we said, Kansas is very, very strict on their laws and their beliefs with single parents, so. And mediation's better than going to court.
How has becoming a dad affected you financially?
Oh, financially, it's pay about almost $1,000 a month to the mom for child support, and that's just one child. Because basically, if she has them, I think 80% of the time, then you pay a certain amount, and then 70% is someone.
And then she also has him on her insurance.
She has them on her insurance, because her insurance is cheaper. I mean, you pay babysitting, because he goes to a babysitter Monday and Wednesdays, so that's expensive. Just food and clothes and everything. But that $900, $1,000, whatever you want, that just covers what she pays. So I pay for other stuff too, so it can get pretty expensive, out of your pocket. And then, you gotta try and live your own life too, support yourself as well. Because you're living in an apartment or a house or somewhere, and you've got your bills. But it's affected me quite a bit. So.
What's the hardest part about being a dad, and what's the best?
Hardest part, I would say, is not seeing him every day, I love my son, and I would love to have him full time, but that's just not gonna happen. The best is, that's my son, like, he came for me, so, hopefully he can just exciting to see, because he's 2.5 almost. And what he was doing 4 months ago compared to what he's doing now is just awesome. He's running around, he's talking. He grows up before your eyes. It's probably the best
So
thing.
you think that's one of the best things a parent or a single dad can say, seeing their child or their only child grow up in front of them?
Yeah.
From diapers to like high school or college and on.
Yeah, I
See
mean,
the development and all that stuff?
yeah, it's just the changes, it's awesome. And he recognizes you, and he calls you dad, you know, and just enjoy that stuff.
Have you ever gotten emotional about shoes? Like, when like, let's say that when he was born, did you get like all emotional, like besides being excited, being dad and nervous and all that stuff? Were you excited when he was like, let's say one, he started, walking or talking?
Oh, yeah.
Hands on him, whatever.
And Snell can tell you, like, I always post videos and pictures or Snapchats, just because I'm excited, I'm an excited dad, you know, I'm like, oh, he's running around, heck yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I don't cry a lot, if that's what you mean, like emotionally, but I don't mean, like,
Has there been a time where you so emotionally you cried?
yeah,
Can I say something too?
yeah,
He's very, how he's talking to you right now is very, very calm, right? And, I mean, not to make light of it, but it was very difficult for him at times. I mean, he had cried a lot and had a lot of emotional breakdowns. Like, yeah, it's an awesome, positive thing, but it was very hard for him, you know?
To get a surprise like that, not just anything.
Right.
You're like, oh my God, everybody takes it different.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that he's on the other side of that, because if I was teaching this class and he was in the middle of that right now, you'd probably see a different side. I mean, in reality. So, that's a good question.
yeah. Best piece of advice, I think, I would say just, be there, be around, be the dad, Don't hand him, pawn him off to somebody if you wanna go do something else, You're gonna have to you're gonna have to change your life, basically. You don't get to go out and party and hang out every weekend now. I would say, being there for him and being around, because if you're not around, he's not gonna know who you are, so.
So do you think, let's say, let's just say you walked out, like you just said, well, even if it's my kid, I'm not gonna take care of it, I'm not gonna be in his life and all that stuff. Do you think that would be a totally different situation in her perspective as a mom?
And I probably would, if I would've did that, I would be regretting it so much.
Because I'm saying I've met some guys that do that,
They just don't wanna be in his
yeah, they
life.
just don't, they want to accept the fact that they have to change their whole life, their whole lifestyle because of the kid.
Yeah.
And they always question the girl, is it even my kid? Because they'll bring up the past that she did, with other guys, they'll be like, are you even sure that's even my kid,
And like I said, I questioned that a little bit too, at the very beginning.
I mean, every guy has the right to question what and that stuff.
Good question. That was like, the picture was like a couple weeks ago. They're getting so big.
He's so cute.
Oh.
Now, like I said, if you are in a situation, I mean, I'm a little different because I'm not in high school. I was out of college and I had a job, but I would say be there. If it's yours, take it, take responsibility and be around. And, just give it away and be there. If you're having a child, you want to be in that child's life, be there for him, for her, and be around.
questions? No?
So how old were you when
28, so 26. Yeah. Yeah, I was a shopper. 26.
Could you imagine being a teen dad?
Oh, no. No, I couldn't. I don't know what I would have done. You know, I was so set on going to college and doing that thing. That's what I wanted to do. I couldn't imagine that. No.
But I think you were at like a good stage in life, which you said, like you said, you finished high school, you had a stable job, you were out of college, and then you basically
Yeah.
did what most guys don't usually do, so,
And, yeah, and it's a little different, but
you
yeah.
can't say like, I would, like, yeah, it was unexpected, but you can't say that, you know, you were a teen dad, you know,
Exactly.
you finished high school, you already had half of your life already finished, and you did college.
Half.
That's
Actually, like a
depressing.
quarter.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, and that's, I mean, I couldn't imagine what it's like, but my girlfriend watches Teen Mom.
So do I.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
How did you introduce your son to your girlfriend?
Well, she was a student teacher at our school. And like, so I had brought him up to school, and she'd been around him, seen him before. She was friends with Miss Nails. I mean, kind of just, he's been around. I mean, we hung out, he was there. And she's a teacher, so she's good with kids, and didn't really have much of a problem with it.
What was your first initial reaction when you saw it? Because when most people introduce you to somebody else besides the mom, they're like, you know, most kids don't really handle it. They're usually like off guard, you know, nervous, or just don't even want to go for it first. What was his initial reaction when, you know, you started meeting him and all that? What was he like? Okay with it?
He was kind of shy, but like now he calls her by name and runs to her and stuff. Like I woke him up this morning. And it's funny because he knows when we're going to work. Cause I take him home. He goes, "Daddy go to work. Chelsea go to work," because that's her name. And then my dad, G-Pop, goes to work, so he knows. And he was kind of shy, but like now he just knows her and calls her by name. And it was fine. Like, they'll hang out with her. It's good around her. So.
Maria, what were you gonna ask? Was she your girlfriend before,
No,
or just?
I had another girlfriend at the time that he was born, but now this is a different one.
So, were you in relationships with the one night stand?
No,
Okay.
never.
So she had like been on
Yeah, I guess.
break or something?
Should've been on what?
Like broken up with her 5-year?
I don't know. That's why I was kind of questioning it at the time. I like I said, I didn't really know him. We went bowling and threw him in the dynamite, so.
Was there any complication
With what?
with when he was being born and everything? Because I know you said you were.
No, there wasn't, I think she had, a little bit of like high blood pressure, which isn't good for the baby, but they got that all calmed down and he was fine. He was pretty small. He was, what, 3 weeks early? He was only 5 pounds. So he was smaller, but I was a small baby. I was only 4 pounds.
I'm surprised you were happy for him because your situation. You talked about your sister.
I mean, I was happy for him him, but I was freaking out for him. I knew that she was pregnant before she told him.
You have this instinct thing kind of like kick in when you already know right off the bat before anybody is different. It's crazy.
Well, it's not a good trait. Yeah, no, I was very nervous for him. I was the only one at our work that knew for how long?
Oh, you were?
Till that summer,
A long time. I
when we
mean,
came back.
a long time.
You guys worked the same?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I was very nervous for him, but yet excited because I guess this is the part that you think about. So when you're friends with someone and when you're looking at yourself, you're always 1,000 times harder on yourself, right, than anybody else is. Well, he's the same way. I mean, he was freaking out a lot about this, right? But kind of like what you just said, like he had not 1 degree, but 2 degrees, had a stable job, has a very extremely supportive family, both financially, emotionally, all of those things, very involved. So in all of those circumstances, the foundation and background that he had coming into that was already there. The only thing that wasn't, ideal was that he wasn't married and it wasn't planned. But yet he also, like I tell him all the time, I was very proud of him, and so many people were proud of him that know him, that he, and for her too, that they didn't try to make something work that wasn't going to work just because you're having a kid together. That's hard, It's very hard.
That's what a lot of people expect.
Yeah, a lot of people do
Right.
expect that, yeah. And his son will never know the difference in any of that. And he's very happy. He's a cute kid. Honestly, they should repopulate the earth. I mean, 'cause he's that cute. He is a really cute kid. But, yeah, no, I was freaking out. I didn't sleep for a while. I was freaking out. And it was a hard secret to keep. Because because they both worked there. And
Was it awkward to be in the same environment as she was and know this secret before anybody else?
No, it was that same day. I was sitting at lunch. The teacher, or her coworker, I guess, came and got me from lunch and was kind of being weird and was like, "Hey, Amy, come here." So I kind of get up from the lunch table and go, and she's like, "Hey, so-and-so needs you. She's having a breakdown in a classroom." So I ran down there, and I knew when the other teacher said she's having a breakdown, I knew immediately. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's pregnant." And so I went down to this room, and she was hysterically crying. And she didn't know what to do. I was like, first you need to go home. Someone needs to cover your class. You need to go home. And so she went home and I told her she needed to go talk to her mom. So she went, I guess, with her mom, and they went to the doctor right then. And then she came back up after school, and that's when. But yeah, I avoided him the whole rest of the day, because I didn't want, and that was at lunchtime, and what, she told you at 6 or so? 5 maybe? So it was just a few hours that I knew. But beyond that, and then right after that, yeah, I was worried for them. I'm like, are they gonna lose their jobs? What's gonna, all this kind of
Right.
stuff, how are people gonna react in this building when this happens? Even though deep down I knew everybody would be very supportive of him in this situation, because everybody really looks out for him there and cares about him. But yeah, he was extremely nervous to tell his coworkers. Well, extremely nervous,
All the students are oblivious to this.
It's bad, it's happened too many times. So,
Were you guys relieved when he finally said, when he told his coworkers and they were supportive?
was I relieved?
Well, both of you, because he said that.
Yeah,
when he told him, like you said, he was nervous.
Oh, he was hella nervous.
I was looking straight ahead like this.
Before
I blacked out, and I'm like,
Before he stood up, he looked over at me, and I was like,
You gotta tell him.
go, and he stood up and did it. And then most of the people are like, oh, yay, congratulations, because he already knew. She was very pregnant. He already knew it was a boy, all these kind of things. He was like, this was what, in August? That was in August. So he told them in August, and he was born in October. So, mean, she was very pregnant at that time, and he stood up and told everybody, and then there were a couple that were like, what, how, what, you know? But, yeah,
But the overall reaction was. that-
she didn't work there after that, she worked somewhere else after that. Like, they don't still work together, she got a different job right after that, but, what were you saying, Edith?
That I think, were you girls, like, once you told them they were all congratulating, did you like, was it calm after that, were you calm after that, once you realized that?
I think
They
it
didn't make a big
way
deal
off your
about it,
shoulder.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And literally, like I said, like the people that we used to work with, it's a very small school, like very small. So you know lots of details about every person's personal life. You've at least probably been over to all of their houses, you know, and most of them are all like close to retirement. And they're just like little moms to all the younger people, you know, and they'll sit there and tell you like, you listen to me, I'm like your second mom, so you better listen up kind of thing. You know, I mean, that's how most of them are there, but.
My mom knew
Oh,
three
yeah.
or 4 of them. A few of them my mom went to college with. My mom taught in Olathe for 32 years, so.
Yeah.
Actually, 35. So she knew a lot of those people because she taught every elementary grade except for kindergarten.
But maybe I should say this, I think one of the reasons why I was most nervous for him during that time is we were in transition. We had a principal that left, and it wasn't a good situation then. So that's what I was concerned about, like, okay, how's it like, huh?
Were you concerned about being?
I thought he was, yeah, I didn't know he was gonna get fired. I read every detail of every manual that the district has to see, you know, I don't know.
You're such a good friend.
When he starts school, is he gonna be going to like the schools?
That's another issue that you've got to agree on. I don't know. I would like for him to go to the school where he's living, like, mostly. Because when I was growing up, I went to school in my neighborhood, so I grew with all the people he grew up with. And I love that because I'm still close with a bunch of those people, and not sure, like, kids from high school, you know, and I want him to go where he lives, not,
Do you guys both live in like?
she lives in, Overland Park.
And you live in Gardner.
Yeah.
Why were you so nervous in telling your coworkers?
I didn't want him to judge me. Be disappointed because I'm not married and I wasn't with the girl that I was with, you know.
How did your parents take it?
How did her parents? I think they took it pretty well. I don't know. They were never rude to me. They were always nice and cordial, so.
Any other questions, guys? Do you have questions for them? Okay.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, you're gonna want these pictures.
I'll get them from you guys.